Hi friends. So I'm back here with another video, and today I think I have the most serious topic I've ever brought up. I tried to record this video earlier today with like the world's most beautiful view behind me. I was at the river and it's at the park and this and that, but it was so windy you can like barely hear the video. So I'm redoing it now. I got my light on so you can at least see me. And hopefully you can hear me as well. But I wanted to make this video because I had something happen to me. Something I needed to share through a video now. Because even while I was at the gym today, it was hitting me so hard that it had almost brought me to tears. And I decided to just finish my workout a little bit early today and I went to the park and made my video. So I went to the park to make my video, but the wind was really bad, so I'm gonna go buy a microphone and try that again some other time. The only reason I was there today was because it was warm and I wanted to have a nice view, not just this dingy old apartment. But to bring everything together, I had started making these videos as a way to express myself and what I was thinking and feeling, and also for a way because I know I can't be the only person with these same thoughts and that it might benefit someone else to see how I'm going through it. But what led me through this journey was months ago I was in a really long relationship with someone who I thought was going to be my entire future. It's how I am in this apartment I am now. And so many other things I had done and thought were going to happen. And then I learned things that I had to end that relationship. And that truthfully broke me entirely. That's part of what brought me to make these videos. It was really what someone else's videos that had helped bring me out of that pit a little bit enough to start making these videos myself, because I felt motivated by them that if they helped me, maybe I can help someone else. But I completely lost myself after this. Like, I was completely broken. I had given my entire soul and heart and mind into what I thought this relationship was going to be, and it ended in a night. And I just had to accept that. And for a while I couldn't. And then I tried to just work myself to death and ignore it and fill myself up with fake forms of love or numb myself in any sort of way possible. And I was going to the gym every day to the point it wasn't even beneficial. It was destroying my muscles how much I was working out, because you need rest. And I was working so much that I was starting to dislike work, which is crazy because I love my job. I've never loved a job more than the job I have now, and very appreciative of it. And all of these things started to compound, and I started to feel so horrible. That was for a while when I wasn't making any videos. Was once everything had started to really compound, because I was starting to get burnt out from work. My body was falling apart from the gym, the way I was treating it. And the other things that I was doing to try to fill that void in my heart was tearing apart my body and soul. worse than it already was. And I kept doing all of these things thinking this is what I needed to do to heal and fill that void and move on. And it never did anything. And then I had to go back to school because this had all really happened around my winter break. And I couldn't work out like I was. I couldn't work as much, obviously, because I have to go to class now. And I couldn't do those other things I was doing because as much as I was letting my life fall apart and wishing that it would just end, I at least tried to show up for class, because if I am going to ever have a future and I'm going to be stuck here, that's my only lifeline to escaping where I am now. And not like where I am now is horrible. I love my life now, but I still want to grow and be better in the future. And to do that, I need to pass these classes. So the second I slowed down on all those other things, my body just crashed. And I got so sick. I skip this next part if you get grossed out easily, but I was sitting in my bed with a trash can next to me, just rolling over and throwing up for 12 hours because I couldn't even sit up. I was that sick. I had never been that sick in my life. And I was like, I'm dying. And it was completely self-caused, I think, because of everything that I was doing. I think it compounded just on that day and just hit me. And I just laid in bed trying to pass the time. I was scrolling on TikTok, and same thing I had been doing to pass the time, just useless things. And then I put on Netflix, and there's this movie called Paul the Apostle. And it says leaving in a couple days. So I hit play and I watch it because I considered myself a Christian, and I like to watch those movies occasionally, and maybe I'll learn something from it. And what I did realize was I was living nothing close to a life of a Christian if the people in this movie were the standard. And if they were the first ones, and even they in the movie were seeming to be pretty flawed for what they should be. So if I'm nothing like them, how do I even consider myself one of them? And then I'm still sick. This is all happening while I'm just laying in bed sick. I started contemplating on everything in my life forever, but more towards since that breakup, and thinking about what I was doing and all these things I was trying to do to fill this void, and how I'm trying to pull myself out of this hole while just digging it deeper. It's like quicksand. And I just sat there and also feeling I'm going to be dead here anyway because I'm so sick. That for the first time in my life, for some reason, because of the movie and because of all of these horrible things I had been doing with my life, I just looked up to my ceiling and started praying to God out loud for the first time ever in my life. And I just said, I'm sorry for every single thing, and I just listed it, everything that I had done in my life and everything I had done recently. And for the first time I took it seriously, like I actually was talking to someone though. For the first time I took it seriously, like I actually was talking to someone though. Like I actually was talking to God. Because for the first time I truly meant it. For the first time I looked inwards at myself and said, if there is a God and this is what he's telling me to be, I'm nothing like it. And I'm as far from his standard of good that you can have. And I just apologized and said, and I apologized for everything. And I said, for the first time, that I really did believe in him and these teachings that the Bible has, and that this is what we're supposed to be doing. And it felt weird to say at first because this is something I had been claiming my entire life, yet I wasn't really believing it or living like I should have been. And when I said that, it was like my heart was on fire. It was like the real Spirit of God was burning in my heart for the first time. And I could feel his presence in the room. And it made me feel better enough that I was able to sleep for the first time since I had been sick. Because I hadn't just been sick for the 12 hours, that was just the worst of it. I had been sick for days, and then it got to a point where I was just in bed for 12 hours throwing up, unable to even sit myself up until I forced myself up to do this. And then when I woke up, I had never felt better in my life. I didn't go to the gym and run 20 miles. I'm not gonna claim I did that. Truthfully, that day, I jumped up and just cleaned my house and threw out everything bad that I had, like even every piece of bad food, and just cleaned the house. And I went through everything that I was spending my days with and looked, is this something that has value towards bringing me closer to God? Because in that night I had now made a promise that if I got better, I had to change. And I woke up better. So that means I have to change. And that means everything. Because the more I'm doing this and the more I'm learning And part of why I wanted to make this video is if you are holding a single part of yourself back from God, you're holding your entire self back unless you give into Him wholly and truly say that this is what you're doing with the life that you have been granted by God. Then you're holding yourself back. And I was tired of holding myself back. It was in that moment in my bedroom that night that I had a real encounter with God and was blessed with something that many people don't get as lucky. And to know that there is a God and a creator of this universe, my house, this world, the Detroit River outside my window, you and I, there is a creator to all of this. And I learned that He wants to know you and I so that we can get closer to Him, so that He can share His love with us and help us. And the closer you get to Him and the more you love Him, the more you see His power and what He can do in your life. And just these teachings in His book can even do in your life. In this short while, since this encounter, I've cleaned house. I've cut out what was killing me. That void in my heart isn't there anymore. I'm no longer constantly thinking about the past and what was. I'm no longer anxious about the future because I know what I need to do now. And I know that no matter what happens past that, will be okay, because I'm not alone. That the God of the universe, who brought Himself down to earth on our level so that we could get to know Him, wanted to also get to know me and help me. And I learned that night. But I also learned that with that, you have to get rid of that old self. If you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done before. If you want to change this life of the past and quit living in pain, you need to quit living by yourself and trying to do it by yourself, because you can't. I tried for months by myself and it didn't work. It just kept getting worse. But the second I truly accepted God and asked for His help and begged for His forgiveness, was the second that I truly felt Him and His guidance, and it all started getting better. I can't explain some of the ways things have worked out since, and part of it might just be a mindset of not having that anxiety, but I tried for so long to do this on my own and couldn't. And I know there's many others trying. And you don't have to do it alone. All you need to do is truly believe that there is a God of the universe, that He wants to get to know you, and start living your life in the way that He tells us. Because once you just make that change is when things start getting better. And like I said before, I make these videos because it's a form of expression for myself, to let out my thoughts and my feelings, but also to try to help others who are dealing with these similar thoughts and feelings. So I hope someone out there hears this message. Maybe you've never heard of Jesus or God, and take this moment to go learn about Him, because He wants to learn about you. I always say in these videos that love is all we have, and that if you're not living with love, that there's no benefit. And since I've been reading my Bible more, and even in this movie, the main teaching of Jesus is love. And that speaks out so much to me, because that's how I want to live my life. But now with the love of Christ. And I want to give that to the entire world, to every person I meet, and love every person I meet. I hope you all do the same. I think I've done enough rambling and crying for one video, so I'm going to end this here. As I always say, I hope you all have the most wonderful day, or night, or evening, whatever time it is by you. For me, it's nighttime now. But I'll see you all in the next video.